6.4 Transformations of log equations. In the previous video, we went over transformations of exponentials. Logs I would handle a little bit differently. First of all, what I would do on all these logs is just make a table and draw a few points and get the general shape. I would not worry about all the transformations because then you're going to have to know how to graph the general logs, which is more of a memorization. Or you could think about the logs as being a reflection over the x equals y line to the exponential. But let's go ahead and just do a table on this. So really, what I want to do is say y is equal to a -3 log base 2 of x. There's really not an easy way of doing this, but what I would do is put down divide by -3 on both sides. And the reason why I do this is so that I can change the form of this. So it becomes 2 to the negative y over 3 is equal to x. And then what I want to do is get some points. Now, remember, when you're finding the points, I would put in the y's to get my x's. So I would choose very convenient y's to get x. Therefore, I would put 0 for y, becomes 2 to the 0 is 1. I put 3 in. This becomes -1. 2 to the -1 is 1/2. And I put -3 in, which means that this is going to be 2 to the first, or 2. And so plotting these points, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 2, -3. And as you can see, it's looking like it's going to look like this and come down through like that. All right, so that's the idea of graphing the log. Now, the other type of questions that you can have is to find out what happens with g of x if you're given information. So the first thing says it's a horizontal stretch by a factor of 3, meaning I'm going to multiply by 1/3. I want to remember it has that reciprocal relationship, followed by a translation of 2 up. So really what I want to do is I want to take f of x and take f of 1/3 x, and then 2 up means +2. Okay, so that means that my g of x is equal to, I'm taking this and plugging it into my x now, so it's going to be e to the -1/3 x, and then I'm going to add 2 to it. How about this next one? It says reflection about the y-axis. That means it's this way. That means I want to multiply by -1 times my x, followed by a translation 4 to the left. Okay, that means you're going to add 4 to the x. So you're going to take f of x, and you're going to take f of -x first. And then what I want to do is take f and substitute x plus 4 in for x. And that gets a little bit tricky. So what that means is your g of x is equal to log of, and I can just go ahead and distribute that, -x minus 4. A lot of students will forget to put in the parentheses here and make this a positive instead of a negative. So be careful, these logs are somewhat tricky.